The Perilous In-Between, written by Cortney Pearson, narrated by Georgia Lee King. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky, that does not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot, though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp. William Shakespeare, As You Like It, Act 2, Scene 7. Chapter 1. Of all the times for Lord Merrick to visit, he had to come when Victoria wasn't properly dressed. She had sloughed out of her corset and skirts in place of a pair of trousers and one of her late father's shirts, which was tucked in and had the sleeves rolled to her elbows. If Mamma could see her now, she would pitch an entire tea tray across the room. Victoria smirked at the thought. That made this act of rebellion all the more appetizing. She'd slipped away to the shed behind her manor house. Mr. Tolbert often allowed her to tinker with things here where she couldn't anywhere else. She'd tried fiddling with her plain Elsie last week, and not only had she been caught, she'd gotten several demerits for doing so. "You're a pilot," Uncle Jarvis had said, "not a mechanic." He was under the delusion that working with the machine she operated in any other capacity than to make them fly was somehow beneath her, or that she wasn't as qualified as the men who fixed the planes at the aviatory. She wasn't sure which. So she secluded herself in the gardener's shed every chance she could. This visit home hadn't been publicized. She'd been certain no one knew of her exploits. So how was it that Lord Charles Merrick was making his way across the back lawns right in her direction? She had no mirror with which to check her appearance. There really was nowhere she could hide either. Chances were he'd already seen her through the greenhouse windows. Should have them blackened, she muttered to herself, wiping the grease from her hands with a cloth. Lord Merrick's knock sounded. She bolted to her feet and swore under her breath. She could ignore the knock, she supposed. But he had it in his head that the two of them were to marry, and a man as titled and handsome as Charles wouldn't take snubbing for an answer. Victoria paused. Forget the cloth. "He wants to marry me?" she said to herself, straightening and hiking her sleeves higher up her arms. She fluffed her hair away from her neck and set her shoulders. Then he needs to know exactly what he's getting himself into. Why should she try to hide who she...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?